Welcome to day one of this Tiptoe Through Winter journaling course. I'm so happy that you have decided to spend a small part of the coming days with me. This experience is going to invite us all to get out into nature, walking, breathing, seeing, and then use that nature immersion as a reflective tool to help us gain clarity and comfort on our life's journey. Before I leap into things, may I suggest that you pause here and ensure you have a pen and a journal by your side. This way you can take notes or write down snippets of inspiration that pop into your mind as you listen. I'll post in the text beneath this recording our first journaling exercise in full, but it's good to just note down anything that comes into your mind. I also want to remind you that journaling is a conversation between you and you. You don't need to be a writer, nor do you need to show anyone your words. This is just about getting thoughts out, which in turn can help us to work life situations out. I'm going to start today with a short poem I wrote, a reminder to acknowledge the spaces in between. The thought behind this poem, which was written when I was feeling run down and busy with commitments, is that sometimes, particularly in winter, it can be good to acknowledge the challenge of lifting ourselves up and away from those heavy spaces, those responsibilities and expectations. We can get stuck in routine, sucked in by the demands placed on us, and we can plummet at times into dark thoughts. So it's good to remember that there is always light, even if it's just a glimmer. The spaces in between. The space where the light comes in, she gasped with joy. Look! And all at once I gravitated towards the golden hue sliced across the dark, across my heart. And a lightening stirred, a quick step of understanding that just like the leaves, I too can choose to curl and meander and grow towards those spaces of light patchworked across the woodland floor. I hope this poem reminds you that the light spaces are there. We just need to tune into them, illuminate them, explore. Rather than focusing every ounce of our energy on the spaces that we already know are filled, the things we have to be, do, and so on, try giving yourself a light boost by tuning in to the other spaces. And of course, I'm not saying that the things that take up our time are necessarily bad. We can love our jobs or our responsibilities as a parent, looking after our pets, visiting friends. But it doesn't mean that sometimes we don't also tear our hair out in frustration, tired from the routine, or wondering why we don't seem to have time for anything else. Why we don't have time for ourselves. So this little journaling experience is your time. Your time to shine a little light on the parts of you, those dreams, desires, wishes that you tend to keep hidden out of necessity or simply because they get trampled over by life or because at this time of year we keep a lot of things hidden. We are, after all, still in winter hibernation. But that doesn't mean we can't just start gently thinking about those little strips, sparkles, smatterings of light that seep into these dark winter days. If you can, I encourage you to wrap up warm today and venture out into your neighbourhood, into the woods, to a windswept beach, or snaking in and out between buildings, or perhaps simply standing for 5 minutes in your garden. Wherever, however, try to get outside so that you can notice all the ways that light appears even in this dark month of January. Before you embark on this thoughtful time in nature, I will share with you a short extract from a letter written by the children's author and poet Anna Letitia Barbauld, who died in 1825 but who was one of the few successful female writers of that time. I think she sums up pretty perfectly how I feel in winter, but note how the light brings her out. My dear Mrs. Beecroft, there are animals that sleep all the winter. I am, I believe, become one of them. They creep into holes during the same season. I have confined myself to the fireside of snug parlour. If indeed a warm, sunshiny day occurs, they sometimes creep out of their holes. So, now and then, have I. They exist in a state of torpor. So have I done. The only difference being that I have all the while continued the habit of eating and drinking, which, to their advantage, they can dispense with. But my mind has certainly been asleep all the while, and whenever I have attempted to employ it, I have felt an oppression in my head which has obliged me to desist. This extract always makes me smile. Winter is a time of hibernation, a time to fold inward, breathe slowly, and perhaps ponder what's to come in the next season. But it's also a time when we perhaps need to be inspired to step outside or even look outside and take greater care to see what's there. Take some time to look at the spaces in between. I always love to see photos of your walks in our shared chat space, for which I'll share a link below this recording, or pages from your journal after you complete the exercise below, if you feel content, of course, to share. Although I want you to know that this is a safe space where we'll all be embracing different journeys, but with some of the same thoughts and aspirations, perhaps. It's energizing, comforting, inspiring to come together and share what's on our hearts. I hope to see you in that space or in the comment boxes below this post, or feel free to email me. Until tomorrow, friends.